I think you need to hear this in 2024 so that you're not discouraged or dismayed concerning your teenage children and young adults. You would have stayed with them this holiday and you probably have noticed that their spiritual life is a bit dry. They are not excited about God or the things of God, praying in church. They are maybe sitting down when praise and worship. You're probably not happy and you're feeling, oh, what's going on? I need you to calm down. Everything will be okay. Your children are not anti-God, especially teenage and adult children. The issue is that they've been out of spiritual covering. You know how when they're in school, there's so much going on, secular activities, so they're spiritually dry. That's the first thing I want you to know. So don't expect them to be as excited and super spiritual as you are. It's a season of dryness. That does not mean they don't love God. That is one. Number two, the other important thing I want you to know is that what fed you will not feed your children. The same food, but served differently. The style that God used in meeting you in your generation is not the exact same way He might want to meet them. Please hear this so that your heart can be at rest, and also so that you can be a bit more flexible, so that you're not blocking out how God wants to meet them. Now, when God wanted to introduce and announce His Son, He introduced Jesus to the wise men through the star because they understood the stars. Now, when He wanted to announce His birth to the Jews, He introduced His Son through angels because the Jews understood angels and miracles. Now, the same message, but with different expression. I want you to also know that this generation is a different generation. God probably wants to meet your children in a different way. So don't box them in. Probably the reason why they are dry, why you're feeling they are not connecting in church or praising God and jumping up the way you expect them to be, is not because they don't love God, but because there's a different way that they can connect more with God. And maybe you've not been sensitive. You want them to sit with you in the pews in church and hear the same hymn or hear the same message, the same praise worship, and we're probably not connecting. So let's be a bit more sensitive with our children in this generation. What is God saying? It's the same message but in a different style. So don't be too hard on them to say it must be like this. What you're probably doing is actually blocking them from God's expression and how they need to meet with God. Open up your mind. Your children will not stray. Our children will not stray. They love God. I can relate with the young people because I went through this as a young person where, you know, your parents insisted you have to do this. And I was like, anytime I was in church, I almost fought church and I shut down all of the time. But look at me today. Your children will not stray. God is a God of seasons and times. Be more expressive. As they go back to school now, open up your mind. A little thing, one or two things that you owe them is to pray that God will raise laborers where they are. God will meet them wherever they are. The shepherds were out there in the field and God located them. God will locate them. The second other thing you have to do for them is leave your mind open. Do not decide that what fed you, the hymn that fed you, the church that fed you, the way that fed you is what is going to feed them. No. Same God, different message. Be flexible, but be assured, none of them, if the seed of God has been sown inside of them, none of them is going to stray. I stand with you and I stand with the children. I stand with the youth. Let's do this together so that we don't block them from the expression that God has for them. Happy New Year. Make it your spiritual goal this year to stay connected and to ensure that they are also connected to the source through which they will hear God. God bless you.